we go. Okay, welcome everyone to How to Write Your Brand Story. Today's session is we're going to go over the template and all about how to tell your brand story. So for anyone who is new, get ready with entrepreneurs. We're a gathering of like-minded entrepreneurs interested in building our brands through networking and sharing of ideas and best practices. As much as we focus on marketing related topics, our goal is to provide a holistic approach to building a sustainable business to support our people, planet, and profits. You can learn more and make sure you're signed up to acornstudio.marketing/GRWE. It is free. There's a QR code there as well. And today's session is presented and sponsored by Acorn Studio Marketing. We're a boutique marketing agency that helps entrepreneurs and organizations build their brand and their business, and especially in a digital first economy. You can learn more about us at acornstudio.marketing. And if you haven't had a chance to reach out and connect with us, I'm Laura. Emily is our creative director. You can follow us there at the QR code, Acorn Studio Marketing. Connect with us on social, but also join our Facebook group if you haven't had a chance. This is where us as entrepreneurs can continue the conversation beyond today and support each other. This is part of a mentorship series. If you haven't joined up, every month we do a different topic. Today is the final one for our brand strategy. We also have upcoming about marketing goals. We talk about target audiences, social media. So if you want to learn about that, the QR code is there and the URL is there, acornstudio.marketing/training mentorship programs. So for today, we're going to learn about how to write your brand story. And the agenda for today is first, we're going to revisit that value-added promise statement, revisit that about your style and your voice. And then finally, we're going to look at that template about how to write your brand story. So let's get started. If you haven't downloaded the Guide to Brand Storytelling, this is what we're going to review today. It is there at the URL. It's on our downloads page. You can also go straight there for the QR code, and we will get started. This is what it looks like. This is probably what I would suggest pulling up for right now, even though there's a whole bunch of other resources there. This is a template that is downloadable off your Google Drive. And for each section, you're going to see it there. We're going to cover those with an example and talk about that. So that's what you'll be looking for today. So it all begins with your brand story. A story is a means of transferring information, experience, attitude, or a point of view. Remember that every story has a teller and a listener. So sharing information about your company in the form of a story helps to connect with your audience. And why do we even do this? Well, it builds trust, creates that deeper connection, expresses authority and personality, and it makes it interesting rather than just point form. Sometimes putting it into a story, that's how our brain works, right? It also triggers emotions. When we know with emotions, it triggers that memory, helps it to be relatable. All of this comes from storytelling, which we know is an age-old way of communicating things to other people in a memorable way. And that is, of course, again, it's interesting, right? So that value added promise. You'll make sure you'll want to have this. If you haven't done it already, it is a statement that talks about the promise you're going to give to your client. So first we identify who your ideal customer or client is. What is their problem? What do they need? And what's the solution that you're going to provide, right? Whether it's through a product or a service. And that last point is, what is your superhero promise? What sets you apart from everybody else that you're going to come in and save the day for your customer who has that challenge and you have that solution. What's that most important? You offer a bunch of things, but that superhero promise, right? So for example, you're going to state it so for your target audience, who, and that's where the statement of need is, our product and service, you're going to name that, is a, describe your product or service, that statement of benefit, right? How does this serve your customer? And put that into a statement. So this is an example. Our sample company for today is the ABC Home Cleaning Company. So who is your ideal customer? Well, they actually are homeowners. They provide cleaning to homeowners in the Greater Toronto Area, which is the GTA. It's a place in Ontario, Canada, if you are visiting us from outside of Ontario. What is the key problem? What do they need? So their customers, right, is the they in this situation. They can't keep their house clean as they want, as clean as they want, and they struggle finding reliable, good help from those who they've hired in the past. Ooh, that is a problem, right? Not only is the situation itself, but they just haven't figured it out, right? Like the competition just seems to be falling short. So what's the solution? What is ABC Home Company doing? They're going to provide end-to-end professional, experienced, customer-centric cleaning services. And what is that really unique selling position? What is their superhero promise? Well, they're going to offer reliable and exceed expectations when delivering service. So their statement is for homeowners in the GTA who are struggling to keep their homes clean and organized. Our team of experts provide quality, reliable, and environmentally friendly cleaning services that exceeds our client expectations. That's our promise, 100% guarantee. Whoa, that's extra superpower, right? So if you have that level of guarantee that you can add in, doesn't necessarily mean you have to guarantee something like that, but that definitely is a promise that they're going to want to deliver on. Just make sure that you have everything in place that you can actually deliver on your promise. So now we want to actually figure out our voice and our style because everybody is different. And this is a time to pause and step back and say, before we get into marketing and all of that stuff, who are we? Like, what's our voice? What's our style? This is something to visit. It's a third party. The reference link is there below. That is not my graphic, but it's a good one. So an archetype you may have heard before. So what that is, it's the characteristics that your brand possesses. So what type of character do you want to play? So just like in a story, right? We have a certain type of characteristic. How do you want to be remembered? Now, they may see you as something different, but this is your chance to step back and think about how you want to be perceived. And then what's your personality? This is where the adjective exercise comes in from your brand storytelling guide. We aren't covering that today, but it is a good exercise. And that basically is finding a whole bunch of adjectives that you want to be described as. Who are you as a brand? Are you excited? Are you rugged? Are you competent, sophisticated, sincere? All those are types of adjectives to consider, and there's a whole bunch of them out there. And there are different resources that we provide at the end. Just to let you know, if you're following along on the guide, there's an appendices at the end of your guide that is constantly being updated. If you haven't visited that, there is a link to something that helps you understand adjectives within that archetype. So customers, remember, that are more likely to purchase a brand if its personality is similar to your own. So that's where that alignment comes in. So what is your brand and what is your customers? What do they feel comfortable with? And make sure it's not too extreme, right? If you're targeting a certain customer and it's totally opposite to who you are as a brand, definitely go back to the drawing board and figure out and make sure that there are overlaps so that you can start to tell your story that's relatable to your client. So let's just open this up a little bit and have a look-see. So basically around the outside are the archetypes. At the top, we have a caregiver, ruler, creator. What motivates them, what they really want is that stability and control. Then we have those archetypes: innocent, sage, explorer, learning freedom. Those are brands that actually want to get um, tell knowledgeable, and they want to share that with their clients because that's what their clients want. They want learning freedom. The bottom we have hero, rebel, magician. This is if they're a little risky or something exceptional, like a magician. Think of Disney, right? Like, woo, very awesome. Who's the hero who's coming in? Maybe Nike fits into that world too. There's different heroes. So we do see a lot in that space, but just remember it's not for everyone. We get into the next one, which is the lover, jester, and everyman, and that's trying to build this sense of belonging. This is what, and confidence and attachment. They're all very different, but it is all sort of with that belonging that is the motivator. So that is archetypes, the different voice and style. And now let's actually jump into our company and see what we picked for them. Now, maybe you have more than one archetype. Like for these guys, we have picked the everyman, but perhaps, actually, let's go back a slide. If it wants to go back a slide. There we go. These guys also might have, so we chose everyman, maybe caregiver, right? Stability and control. Are they taking care of your house? But you go, caregiver is usually like a teacher or nursing, and it's understood a little bit different in that world. So you're going, maybe not as much. So then you come back to the everyman. Maybe it's magician. Oh my goodness, somebody's going to clean my house. It's like magic. But unless you're going to give that sense of a magician, and maybe that's your brand style, I'm going to come in and magically your house is going to be clean. You're going to go, I want to be known as the magician, right? So my whole branding could be around that, this magician style. But for this company, competent, reliable, the everyday person, let's jump into that. Who actually, the salt of the earth, non-pretentious, relatable, wholesome, comfortable. It's like, oh, yeah, that's the brand. That's the brand I want to be. Those are the people. Hard work, common sense. Remember, reliability was important to them. Symbolically, the everyman allies themselves to families and multiple cultures in their area. There's a lot of different cultures, so they go, okay, that makes sense for me. So the brand archetype gift is bringing safety, reliability, trust, and comfort. So they're going, that's the archetype that I'm going to select. And again, it doesn't mean you can't have little pieces of the other ones, but you want to define yourself, at least pick an archetype to get started for your story. Then we get into messaging. So we've got the different messaging that we want to say. This, remember we had all the visual branding in the previous sessions. We'll make sure the links are below in the comments. But the messaging, what words are you going to use? What sentences are you going to use? How are you going to verbally describe your company? Messaging architecture is where you start. So it's the structured framework that outlines an organization's key messages. It establishes a hierarchy of messages from broad, overarching brand messages to more specific ones about your products, services, or initiatives. And why do we structure it? First, before we even dive into what a key message is, well, it's to make sure that you are consistent. And you hear that a lot with whether it's visual or through your types of language. We want to make sure our brand is consistent, coherent, and it aligns with all the communication we do. Because right now, if you're a small business owner, you're doing everything. You're doing internal work, you're working with key stakeholders, maybe you're talking to vendors and you're talking to clients, and maybe it's a relatively small world. But as your business grows, this type of architecture is really important, and it helps to prioritize. It gives a blueprint for developing all of your messages. So there's primary and secondary messages. Primary obviously is the most important. That's what's going to be solid, very much aligns with your positioning statement. It's going to talk about your core values, mission, and unique selling position. Typically, you'll have one. You might have more than one as you grow, but start with one. Secondary messages, just like it says, it's going to It's going to support your primary message, right? It's going to have details, examples, benefits, and it's going to talk about the interests and concerns of your audience. That key thing that you're going to start to build out with sales material or your marketing material or even internal communications. So primary is your main one, and it's overarching, similar to like goals, right? It's an overarching message. And then secondary is supporting. So let's try an example. Now, these guys wrote the promise statement first, and it's a great place to start. Remember, just because you started with this doesn't mean you can't go back and tweak it, right? So if we're going to pull from that promise statement and figure out our key messages, you might actually have your messaging architecture first and then go to there. So this kind of works back and forth. So remember, they mentioned quality, reliable, environmentally friendly services, exceeding client expectations. So what will that look like from a messaging architecture? So primary message, ABC Home Cleaning provides cleaning services, wow, that exceeds client expectations every time. That's just it. That is when they hire someone new or they're going to be selling something to a client. This is the most important message that they want to get across. Secondary things are all those little things that they're going to do or how they're going to serve them, right? They're going to deliver exceptional services, 100% guarantee. If you book it, we will be there. Reliability. Offer services to residential and small business owners. Now, we brought that in, and we'd have to tweak that because we did say they were just doing homes. But no home too small or large, right? Like, what if they come across as being a big company, but they don't want to neglect the small or large home? So that's a key message that you want to get across. And we consider the environment when selecting cleaning products. Now, when you write this, make sure you do organize it as far as a hierarchy, right, on what the most important is. So top to bottom. Delivering exceptional cleaning service is the most important. Environmental cleaning products is important, but as far as their messaging, they leave that at the bottom because they want to make sure all the others are done. Okay, now writing your brand story. Time to open this up. We have all the different sections, just like a story. We're going to start with the prologue. It sets the stage. We talked a lot about the founder's story. So your founder's story, there is a whole series on that one, or a video and a template, and that sets the stage, you the founder. But the rest of it, it's all about your brand, right? Who's the main character in your brand story? It's typically your customer. What are their needs and wants? Then all of a sudden, so that's talking about your client. Now enters your brand. Describe how your brand comes into the story. And is there someone else? Ooh, is there a villain? No, it's a competitor. So is there someone else trying to solve the problem, right? That you have to be aware of that competition. And then alas, you have the true solution for your customer, right? That's the thing that you're going to present. What's the impact your solution has on that main character, your customer? And that is going to be how it happened. How are they going to use it? How that whole journey is, right? That customer journey is going to be considered. And at the very end, we have an epilogue. So what's the sequel to this story? How can they possibly come back for more? Or are they going to be a brand advocate and go and tell the world about how awesome you are? So that's kind of how the story is going to be structured. You may also remember this is you telling the story. This is your big brand story. But as you grow and you tell more stories, other people might come from the voice of an employee, might come from the voice of a client. There are different stories that you can create to support this story. But remember, this is your key, your main brand story. And all right, the prologue sets the stage. Who's telling the story? What context does your audience need to understand your story better? It is your origin story. As many of you hear me say, it's the OG story. And that for the home cleaning company, this is what we say. We believe that keeping your home clean and healthy is important to the welfare of your family. The investment in your home and your peace of mind. After years of being in the construction and hospitality industries, we know what it takes to deliver on this promise. We know that people are working hard to provide for their family. Owning a home takes a lot of work. We are here to help. There's nothing that gives us greater joy than being able to see our clients enjoy a happy and healthy home. So if we go back to what storytelling does. Remember, it has to be memorable, has to be interesting, but it has to be relatable. So basically, they're building confidence, saying, we understand where you're coming from. We've been doing this a long time. We totally see where you are. We see you, the client, right? We know that home owning takes a lot of work, and we're here to help. This sort of sets the stage. It's like, okay, I trust you, right? It builds trust, credibility. So that's the prologue, that's your origin story. So now who's the main character of the story? In your main brand story, your ideal customer is the main character. When telling supporting stories, this character may change to be a secondary audience. Again, remember, it could be talking about employees, but right now for your branding, for your marketing, it is going to be your customer. Now, this is where, if you have it handy, your target audience personas. Your avatar is what you want to pull from this information. Once upon a time, you can start it like that. There lived a young couple that was expecting their second child. They purchased their first home in Mississauga, an area in the GTA for anyone who's new, a year ago and love it. The home is a small townhouse which has a backyard. There's a nice sized kitchen and open concept living room for entertaining. They're in the process of setting up the fourth bedroom for the nursery. So many beautiful windows to see the backyard, allowing them to let natural light in and be able to see outside to watch the kids play. There's an air filtration in the home and energy efficient appliances, which the environment and their health is important to them. They love to go on hikes and travel. They can't wait to have the kids come along with them. So, key points that they've put in here about this that sets the stage for their brand is they have kids. They're busy lives. They still want to go out and travel, do things. It's like, okay, so they're a busy person. That means they probably need help cleaning. They have big windows to see into the backyard. Oh, this company does window cleaning services, right? So, and why do they have big windows? Why is it important that they look out? Because the kids are playing in the backyard. It's like, oh, that's really important. They have different environmental things that they might consider, air filtration systems. Oh, actually, maybe we could do some co-marketing. Like there's a lot of little pieces that we've pulled from our avatar, from potential marketing concepts, and we've built this story to help us visualize who our clients are and what their needs are. Putting it into a story is not necessary, but all of this is very helpful for painting a picture. And what are their needs and wants? This is character development for your story. What are they like? What do they do? What are their general needs and wants? So, however, they always is kind of the lead in, right? They are always working full time, their clients, and are struggling to keep up with all housekeeping chores. When they come home, they're tired. Every weekend, they're just doing chores around the house and they never get to spend time with their kids. Really important pain point, right? With the second one on the way, they are not sure they can keep up with everything. They want to spend more quality time with their family, entertain friends, but also have a healthy and organized home. And that's important to them. So that's an important differentiator between for their clients. It's like not everyone can be busy, but not everyone wants a healthy, organized home. They really want to target those people that are busy, but like that healthy and clean home. So that sets the stage, develops the character. And what's their problem? How are they currently trying to solve it? So this piece is an option, but it's really good to build that conflict. State the problem and how this affects your main character. What do they believe will help this problem? Or simply put, what are they looking for and how are they looking for it? They were trying to solve it, but they were struggling. So what did these guys do? What did the clients of this home cleaning company do? They tried to do it all themselves, but they can't keep up. They looked into finding a nanny or housekeeper, but didn't feel they needed someone full time since their parents live close by and can support them. They looked to Kijiji and asked their friends if they knew of anyone and didn't have much luck. The ones that were recommended were too busy, and the independent cleaners they hired weren't reliable and unable to deliver the level of cleanliness that they expected. So now we have an idea of the pattern of what the clients are doing. We have some competitors starting to come into the picture, and where else and where they're actually looking for cleaning services. We've actually stated a platform that so many of our clients are looking for, and we've done it through a story. So your brand now enters the picture. How can your brand step into to help them? What is the solution that they are offering? Well, their clients, they found ABC Company when searching online. From what they read on their website, they offered the services they needed. Testimonials gave them encouragement and decided to give them a call. And they found a testimonial. What is your ideal testimonial? You could state that here. They're a husband and wife team that has quite a bit of experience. They came to give us a quote and it was reasonable, said the client. So I would put that in if you have that, because that's that ideal client um, statement that you want to do and have people say about you. Is there someone else trying to solve this problem? Enter the competition, right? Who's trying to help them but not quite meeting their needs? Because obviously you're going to be better than the competition, right? Does it make sense to mention them in the story? If they are important to the story, you can include them. So this is where the coming from the voice of the client, first impressions were good with ABC cleaning services, but they wanted to see other similar professional services were out there. Ooh, okay. So they're looking. They looked online, but only found a limited few that had .ca, which is Canadian websites, that provided them with the information they needed to consider. They put in a form for one, and there was no response. See, part of your research, just as a segue, right? If you know that other companies are out there that are doing this and they can be found, is this a problem? Is this something that you've done in your research? So start to pull from your research. The other one they called, no one responded to their voice message. They did get a couple quotes. It was all about the same price. Okay, so you're not differentiating yourself in price, but it was the fact that ABC Cleaning Company could offer everything, and they were impressed with their testimonials that they wanted to give them a try. So now they're giving them a try. You have the true solution. One day they found you, right? They found all about you. How did they find you? You want to make a statement there and saw that you were offering. Touched on that a little bit, didn't we? But we're going to build on that. They were amazed by what that you offered. Yes, this is where you wow your audience. They couldn't believe that they found you and their dreams came true. The climax of the story, right? After the initial clean, they were so impressed. They were professional, efficient, and went above and beyond. We didn't even realize that our house could look that clean. Wow, that's awesome. When they were there, they told us about a few other small jobs that they needed to be done around that house, explaining that in the long run, it would save them money on their energy bills. For instance, we hadn't changed out air filters since we moved in. The information was free and it showed they cared. Really important part of your story, because they had remembered their promise was they were going to exceed expectations. And so this is a sample of how they were going to do it. So as they are going to grow, this is for them in their branding and marketing. I'm telling you, if they want to start contracting or hiring people, they need to understand their story and that this is how it feels. So these brand stories go a long way. What's the impact of your solution on the main character? What transpired? What did the main character's life become now that they found your solution? And what's the future look like? The happily ever after, right? Now the couple could relax on weekends, enjoy time with their family. They're proud of how clean their home looks and are looking forward to entertaining more. They know that it costs them a bit for this service, but since they are enjoying their home and have more time on their hands, they're finding that they are staying in to cook and even enjoying morning coffee rather than picking one up every day. More than money, they have the peace of mind that their family is enjoying precious time together and their home is healthy and organized. All of this can be used on your website. Like all of this sort of builds that feeling that when your client comes to your website, how do they want to feel? Afterwards, how do you want them to feel? What's the confidence that you're building? Peace of mind, right? Morning coffee. I'm thinking all of this will help me when I select images for my website or some of my marketing. This sets the foundation. So what's that sequel? How can they possibly come back to participate in your story? Will they come back as a customer or will they be your brand advocate or both? The couple can't wait to tell their friends and family about ABC Company when they received a request to post a review on Google. They were so happy to do so. What's next? So here's the sequel. Well, ABC Cleaning Company booked, or they have ABC Cleaning Company booked every couple weeks and a deep clean once a year. They also have them booked to clean all their windows in the spring. For sure, any questions or help they need around the house, they will be calling the team at ABC Cleaning Company. So that is something you want your customers to do in the future. Okay, so now our story is done. How are we going to use this information? We mentioned the website, right? The hub of everything. You hear me talking about that a lot. So for example, how would this look like on website content? Well, who we are in your about section, right? We're ABC Home Cleaning, provides support to help you create a comfortable, clean, and organized home. Our goal is to help you enjoy wellness and joy while spending time in your personal space. We provide cleaning services to residents in, well, I guess we mentioned the GTA, didn't we? Why do we do what we do? Well, in this fast-paced world, your home is a safe haven. We're emphasizing, right, what we already know about our clients, that they want a safe haven. And we're now saying, we know, we understand that. Whether you are working, hanging out with your family, or relaxing, we believe that keeping your home clean and healthy is important to the welfare of your family, the investment in your home, and your peace of mind. We want to help our clients create happy and healthy homes. Our cleaning experts use locally sourced and environmentally friendly products while always considering your home's cleanliness as top priority. Let us help. Call to action. Don't forget that call to action. We know you're busy and schedules can change. We want to make it easy for you to receive the service you need. Learn about uh, ABC, how ABC Cleaning Company can support your quest for a clean, comfortable, and healthy home. Call to action that isn't on here, but will be, fill out our form for a free quote or contact us if you have questions. It could be any of the above. And so as you start to build out your marketing material, go back to your story and then go back to your positioning statement, go to your key messaging, go to your target audience development. All of those should all work together to support that brand style and voice and that archetype that you have defined for your business. And that is how we set the stage for your branding as you get started, but also to ensure consistent and quality content as you grow your business. So that's it. I did want to do a bit of a shout out to melinis.ca, which was the inspiration for our ABC sample company. And that was a company that we helped with their branding and their website. So that's it. That is your brand storytelling.